Sony. Maloney. Jesus. Okay. So here's another interesting one that actually kind of shocked me because look. So first I got the WF-1000XM3s, which would be these bad boys right here. It's like, oh, I guess they'll be fine. And then I was like, whoa, these are more than fine. They're interesting. And then I got these when they just came out. Well, not when they just came out, but they're definitely a new release. I think they came out like a few weeks ago from the filming of this review. And I said, oh my goodness, a truly wireless Sony offering that is meant for sports, and it's around the same price as the XM3s. Oh my goodness, they're going to be, they're going to essentially be sport XM3s, which would fix the one issue I had with the XM3s, which was the fit being like, okay, cool, but they don't stay in my ears. Well, these have wingtips. They'll stay in my ears. I thought, great, that fixes all of my issues. They're perfect. Nothing can stop me now. Okay. I was wrong with okay, God. Let's just get into the review so we can just get this out of the way. Look, as far as the build goes, the build is interesting. It's pretty decent. You have matte plastic, it's a good kind of plastic. It's not super quality either. The wings and the ear tips are all made of silicone, and the case is made out of a similar material to these as well. They do have this touch-sensitive area, which is where you can activate features of the the earphones themselves. That is made out of a glossy plastic, whereas everything else is made out of a matte plastic. So here's the thing. It takes Type-C to charge these. That's awesome. Fantastic. Get with the times. They got with the times. That's awesome. I really like that. The contents. It comes with the earphones themselves, obviously. It comes with the charging/carrying case. It comes with three pairs of ear tips. Pairs? 3 pairs of ear tips, 3 pairs of wings. And by the way, they are not attached to each other, so you can mix and match them to fit your ears best. Bose, looking at you. So, it also comes with a short USB-A to USB-C cable, and it comes with the manuals that you need to get these to work. So, as far as the comfort goes, they're very comfortable. Honestly, they're very comfortable. I was able to choose the smallest ear tips and the largest wings, that's right, to find the best fit for me. And oh boy, is it the best fit for me. Bose. Although they do not fall out, nor feel like they would, there is an issue here. When running or just, power walking, these amplify the thump of your steps and make it louder than your music, unless you are listening to your music at like eardrum shattering volumes. It's terrible, honestly. I mean, these are meant for music, but you can't even hear the music because all you hear is just dum 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 of your steps. It's terrible. But anyway, other than that, they stay excellently in my ears. If anything, the left side might slightly shift back and forth, but it's not a big deal. It's just the slightest thing, and it never feels like it's about to fall off. It just kind of feels like, oh, it slid a bit. No big deal. As far as the tech inside goes, it is Ip55 Water-Resistant. Generally speaking, that means take these for a run. Take these in light rain. Don't shower with these, and please don't go swimming with these. That's pretty much it. They feature active noise cancellation and ambient sound, although honestly, it's really lackluster. I don't even want to call this like somewhat effective. No, honestly, it's just, it kind of like muddies up the outside noise, but it's no. Just no. The Sony Connect app allows for EQ to be applied exclusively to these earphones, and that EQ wouldn't apply to your other Sony earphones or any other thing that you might be connecting to your phone, whether it's wired or wireless or whatever. No, it applies specifically to these Sony WF SP800Ns and nothing else. So that's a very cool thing from the Sony Connect app. I'm not gonna lie. I really like that feature. And they let you choose between a priority on sound quality or signal strength. More on that in the notes and thoughts section of the review. They offer 9 hours of battery life in the units themselves, plus another 9 additional hours in the case itself. So it equals out to a total of 18 hours. And with 10 minutes of charging, you can get up to 60 minutes of playback just like that. So decent, quite decent. You can also use Google Assistant with these, but to use Google Assistant on iOS, you have to download the Assistant app. So yeah, there's that additional step, but honestly, it's not a big deal. And I personally don't use assistants, so I don't care. But, just noting it for those of you who do. As far as the range on these is concerned, I tried it on both priority to sound quality and priority to signal strength. On sound quality, I got 12 steps. However, when I was outside and testing this out outside, it would cut off pretty constantly, honestly. It was a little surprising. I was like, what? But it's a Sony and it was $200 and no, it was cutting off constantly. So I honestly, I didn't even go half a block without just swapping it over to signal strength mode. Once I did, it didn't cut off anymore like that. But anyway, when I continued my range test, I went 22 steps before it cut off, which is about an average amount of steps, honestly. But it also happened with pretty much no choppiness, or close to no choppiness occurring with these earphones at any point. So you had a constant stable connection up until you reached 22 steps, and it was like, nope. You can't listen to that anymore. So it's all right. It lets you choose between the two. Now, as I get further into the review and into the notes and observations section, I'll tell you why that doesn't matter, but it does offer you those settings and it did make a difference. But anyway, boy, let's just get the sound portion over with now. Look, these things have the moniker extra bass on the box. Let me show you the box here, just so that you don't complain. They have the moniker extra bass. Do they keep their word? Yeah, unfortunately they do. And I'm not talking about the tuning here. Look, tuning is entirely, yes, there is a point where it's just incorrect, but it can be a flavor thing. It's definitely a flavor thing where some people like more bass, some people like more treble, so on and so forth. And you can adjust to different frequencies. I'm not saying you can't, but here's the thing. The bass is very punchy. And it has some real meat to it. Now, this in and of itself isn't a bad thing. It's not bad. It is a preference, plus all the other extra bass benefits to a workout bud that I have explained in previous videos, where it kind of it equalizes out considering that you lose a lot of bass when you're running outside, regardless of whether you're using ANC or not. But anyway, look, these sound really artificial. They sound incredibly artificial. Just like Zealots of Stockholm by Childish Gambino. The bass note at 126 is forward. It is. And it's definitely present. However, the detail is just so meh. So meh. However, it just sounds fake or super artificial. I can't find any other words to it. It's just... I'll go ahead and sum up what I mean at the end of the sound review, but at 307, the extension, honestly, it is quite deep. It is. But it is at the cost of having that weird timbre to the sound. It's just weird. Really weird. Another example, Dream On by Postmodern Jukebox. Their cover, of course, not the Aerosmith. Anyway, the string bass, it just pops out way too much for its own good, and it sounds way too boomy. Ow. Although, in its defense, the rest of the instruments aren't really washed over either. So it's not, the downside of having that excessive amount of bass, even though the bass itself is terrible, at least it doesn't make everything else terrible because of the bass. Now, as far as mids go, the female vocals, you know what, they're not bad. They're, I guess, decent. They're pretty decent. But the cello sounds really slow and it has a lack of detail. Just it sounds like the cello ate too much pasta for dinner and it's just too lazy to sound correctly, if that makes any sense. If you can just imagine a cello that's like so fat it looks like a string bass. It just like that's what I hear out of this. You know, Ben Swallow version of cello. That's what I hear from this. So it's really weird, man. And the male vocals, they're slightly thicker. They're slightly more thick. Von Smith, I'm sorry, dude, but like Von Smith sounds like he gained a few pounds too many. Like, dude, you gotta focus a little less on your singing and a little more on your dieting, man. You gotta shed those pounds, cause like these just do funny things to the mid. It's kind of funny if I'm being totally honest with you. Now we approach the treble section. Look, it sounds like I'm hearing it from a tin can. Like I can, you know what, screw it. Look, listen. You got this. Kraft, a mayonesa. So you got this thing right here. It sounds like I got the WF-1000XM3s, and then I just opened this can up and gave it a good dip, and then brought these out, and I'm like, should have a tastier sound to it. And that's what I hear in the treble response. Like detail, nah, no detail. No big extension. It manages to sound dark and sibilant at the same time. How? Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand here. Now for the notes, because that's all I want to say from the treble. I can't say any more other than who, what, when, where, why, and how. My teachers would be proud of me, even though I'll never be. But whenever I took these out on a run, I had to step down from sound quality to signal strength to prevent it from breaking out. I already said that. Now, although I'm sure they would not sound quite as good if I was listening to it critically, I didn't really hear a huge difference when running and focusing on my workout. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It doesn't matter, and let me tell you why. I couldn't even hear the music due to the thumping. The thumping made it sound like the headphones were distorting. It's like, oh God, it's so bad. It's really, I don't want to absolutely shit on these unless I have to, but I absolutely will if I have to. And I'm going to shit on these. Another thing, please EQ the heck out of these, because I'm going to insert a couple screenshots of the EQ settings I tried applying. Look, I tried to find a good balance, but I had to give up. This was the best I could honestly do to make these sound like bearable and somewhat correct to my ears. So you can do one of these two, man, and at least it won't sound completely terrible, but it's something, right? Look, overall, these sound funky. They sound funky. And not funky good like Get Down, funky bad like Get Down, There's a Shooter. You can definitely tell that Sony really tried to gimp the sound on these in order to prevent the cannibalization of the WF-1000XM3's sales. They were like, well, what do we do if we make these sound good and we added the comfort part to it and the fit? No one's going to buy the WF-1000XM3s anymore. What do we do? Simple. We kill the sound. Look, I'm not saying, okay, joke time. I'm not saying that these have zero detail, but the type of sound I'm getting from these reminds me of, imagine that extremely cheap cello, you go to eBay and you go cheap cello, right? And you see a cello for $120 and it's all sorts of weird ass colors, and you even have one with an anime print on it or whatever. And you have the seller rating it as super high quality cello. Get it now before they all run out, and they have an inventory of 5,000 or something. But anyway, it sounds like that. It reminds me of an extremely cheap cello with decent tuning. Yes, it is playing the correct note, but no, it does not sound good at all. That's, at best, these things are a pretty decent toy. Very decent toy. Good internals, as in the tech. Not even. No, because the range is terrible on these. You have to gimp it down to signal strength as opposed to sound quality. And they sound terrible. And they don't even have the best battery life on the market. They're 18 hours total. Other than fitting you properly, Like, who cares if they fit you properly? You don't want to wear these. You don't want to listen to these. You don't want to have these on. You don't even want to see, you don't even want to be seen in these. Who cares? That, you know what? I think that could be a great title to this damn video right here. This has been sponsored by Who Fucking Cares? These things are trash. They're trash. I can't. Look, if you're looking for a workout earbud, look anywhere else but here. And just an FYI, I did listen to these with both the stock. Well, honestly, I don't remember if I updated it or not, because I want to say, yeah, okay, so these don't really have an update to the firmware yet because they're kind of recent. So I mean, they might improve over time. I don't know. And I'm not going to find out because I'm going to get rid of these before that probably happens. I'll update you if I do, like if I happen to have these updated before I manage to get rid of them. But no, just no. Do yourself a favor and you can shove this mayonnaise into your ear and it'll make everything sound better than this will. I don't know, man. Like, no.